Should Christians celebrate Roe vs. Wade being overturned? Well, this might surprise you, but I think that it depends. Now, hear me out before you jump to any conclusions. I'm going to explain, but make sure you stick around to the end because my last point is the one that I believe is the most important. All right, let's get into it. So I made a video a few weeks ago discussing why I support the overturning of Roe vs. Wade and why I'm pro-life, which I'll link down below if you're interested. But in that video, I explained that almost everyone on both sides of the issue can all agree that taking the life of a baby is wrong, and so the real disagreement comes down to whether or not the fetus is a baby or not. I gave some of the reasons for why I believe that it is, and I did so in a way where I wasn't talking to Christians from a Christian perspective, but instead I was talking neutrally to both Christians and non-Christians and from a practical standpoint. But in this video, I want to talk specifically to the Christians who agree with me on this topic and see this event as good news and something to be celebrated. Now, celebrating the overturn of Roe vs. Wade is a really good and a right thing to celebrate. After all, since we believe that a fetus is the human life of a baby, this overturn would literally save the lives of millions of babies every year. But there's two things that I believe are critical for those of us that are Christians to know before we do. First, as in all things, we need to check our hearts. With the political tension growing in America over the last few years, it's become easier and easier for this victory to be taken primarily as a way to dunk on the other side and for our celebration to be a form of subtle revenge. I'm sure over the next week or so, we'll be seeing a lot of conservative commentators laughing at liberals who are heartbroken over this ruling. And even though we completely disagree with them on this topic, as Christians, we shouldn't get any pleasure from seeing them in sorrow. The Bible tells us not to rejoice when our enemies fell and not even to let our hearts rejoice. Just as Jesus didn't get any joy out of our sorrows, neither should we let our hearts rejoice in the sorrow of our enemies or those that we disagree with. This means that rather than seeing this as an opportunity to dunk on them and laugh at them as they panic over this ruling, instead, we should show it as an opportunity to show Christian love and that we really mean it when we say that we're pro-life. And that leads to the second point. Biblically speaking, agape love in the Bible isn't based on feelings, but instead it's based on action. So we can show the Christian love by finding ways to support women, families, and children as they find themselves in tough positions brought on by unexpected pregnancies. Now, I don't know much about Matt Chandler, but someone sent me an Instagram post of something that he said that I thought was really good. He said, one way to do this is by finding a women's advocate center and volunteer and support them financially. And he said that even more, you can open up your empty tables, your empty bedrooms, and your wallets to come alongside of women who will need a community to help raising their children. When we decide to put our money where our mouth is, not only does it truly help us to become more like Christ, who, rather than criticizing us from afar, was willing to roll up his sleeves and get involved in the mess that we created ourselves, but it also prevents those who are against us from having confirmation that we don't care enough to do something about it. Even though it's not true that we don't do anything, because we do, the fact of the matter is we can do more, and I'm speaking to myself as much as I'm speaking to all of you. So, should Christians be happy about Roe vs. Wade being overturned? Well, I think that depends if you want to celebrate beating the other side or if you want to celebrate life and an opportunity to help those babies whose lives are being saved. So I want to challenge those of us that are Christians to talk with our families tonight and try to think of practical ways that we can come alongside and help those who are in need. Let's use this as an opportunity to show the world what it means for Christians to love those who might be against them and also what it really means to love our neighbors as we love ourselves. And if you disagree with me on this and you don't think that we should help those in need, I hope you don't mind me asking, but what do you mean?